Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Even though I am not going live today from Instagram, channeling, transmuting this energy, and I'm going to record this right here at home as I do every Tuesday morning at 8:30. So I don't know when they'll let me go live again from my beauty influencer account, but we'll make it happen. As always, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, which I'm sure you are at this point, please like, share, subscribe. Appreciate you. Yeah, a little thrown off because I normally do this conversation live, but for some reason, Instagram blocked me. I think I have a hater out there, but it's cool because it's really all love at the end of the day. So I'm getting the vibe right as I normally do. Little incense, little Palo Santo. It's a heavy morning. It's a heavy morning. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot that is on my mind, and I will be sharing these wild thoughts. We're gonna get the energy clear really quickly. We've just been dealing with so much, and it just seems like day to day, every single day, we wake up to something else. It seems like we've been waiting for months for 2020, for things to calm down. Got new glasses too. Send a comment if you like them and you think they're cute. But so yeah, just for things to calm down, and just hasn't happened yet. Just has not happened yet. So I am with you and working to stay grounded. It is a challenge. It is an everyday journey, that we have to get up, wake up, choose this grounding again and again and again. So I'm with you. Just know that I'm with you in spirit. Gonna quickly plug the self-care store. This doesn't have any kind of label on it, but this is something that I make. It is homemade Florida water. I make it with the fresh herbs and rum and lavender, cloves, star anise, juniper berries. There's a plethora of things that I put into this to make it smell amazing. I do sell that at the link in my bio in little nice blue bottles that you can purchase. I also have the energy clearing kit where just like I use the Palo Santo, it has a stick of Palo Santo in it, as well as a sage smudge stick, abalone shell, a roll-on of my blessing oil, incense matches, and the pink Himalayan salt. So you can find products like that and more. Hashtag shop where you are loved. Okay, so my heart is heavy this morning, more specifically because we are dealing with the death of this young lady. I don't want to mispronounce her name, but you can follow the hashtag Justice for Toyin. I know she is of African descent. This is a 19-year-old woman who was found murdered. And she had just tweeted days before that she had been molested, if I'm not mistaken, twice. I think she was trying to find a safe space and was with some people in a church, and these people assaulted her, and she ended up losing her life. And these were black people. As light workers, as a light worker, which I do refer to myself as, it's not a job, it's a calling, it's a gift. We have to explore the shadows, you know. Like sometimes people say, Joy, you're so positive, and I'm like, yeah, I am, but trust and believe, when I throw something in there that's a little bit darker, you know, people get a little thrown off, and we explore shadows. That's what we have to do. So this conversation will be a little triggering. You know, this is the trigger warning. I'm gonna be on a soapbox, you know, so it doesn't even surprise me that something like Instagram blocking me, because this conversation has to be had. It has to be gotten out. And darker energies will always try to dissolve light, but it's not possible. Put one candle in a dark room, it's going to illuminate. That's just what's going to happen. So moving on. So I've been saying for a while that we have a lot to explore in our own community. You know, again, we've been dealing with so much social unrest, social injustice every day. You know, people protesting, rioting, and I get that, and I support that, and I'm with that. However, it does not dismiss the things that we are going through within our own households, within our own communities, and we have work to do just in the Black community, period. And this young lady, this is why it's such a trigger, because this is exactly what I have been talking about. You know, she did not die at the hands of anybody white or at the hands of police. She died at the hands of people who were in her, she was supposed to feel safe with. People who looked like her. And unfortunately, and she just happened, I mean, the reason that we know about it is because she was tweeting about it. Unfortunately, this type of thing happens so often, and I am just overwhelmed with sadness at the way that the world looks at Black women. The lack of value for our lives. Yes, Black lives matter, but again, they need to matter to all Black people, including, and more specifically, to Black men. It's a problem. I have been wanting to do a conversation for a while, and I may have even mentioned this, and I still haven't gotten around to it, and this is not going to be the conversation, but called Punish for Pretty. You know, because for the exoticism, you know, that Black women display, and we objectify, you know, so often and so unintentionally, I believe, not always maliciously, just consistently and historically, you know. And if we are not possessed, you know, cannot be taken advantage of, there are ways that we get punished for it all the time. So, and you know, here again, this young lady is just trying to find a safe haven to just live her life. Just live her life. And because she did not want to give over her body to some man who felt as if he just had some right to it, she lost her life. And, you know, I'm just, again, my heart is heavy because I'm just so tired of the martyrs, you know, and these people who have to lose their whole lives to get the attention. Just get attention for these issues that have been going on for years. I'm grateful that we have platforms at this point to talk about it and bring more awareness to it. And people are actually starting to listen on some level. But again, all I see is Black women talking about this young woman. That's all I see. You know, and I tend to feel like the same respect, the same acknowledgement that we want as Black people as a whole from white people, that same energy needs to be in Black men towards Black women, and acknowledging this is happening, this is painful, this is something that needs to change. It really, really does. I am also drinking some Chinese herbs right now. I can't even pronounce them, but I will send a link or put it down in the info section here on YouTube of what I'm drinking. It's for the female system, opening up the fallopian tubes, and just overall female wellness. So, yeah. All right. Speaking of women and black women. So yeah, I'm just looking at my notes here. So to the point of being punished for pretty, you know, the death of this 19-year-old black woman explores the same topic. When men cannot possess us, we have absolutely no value to them. Black women suffer at the hands of black men. You know, this girl was sexually molested twice, if I'm not mistaken. You know, and she is just a representation of a much bigger issue and a much bigger problem. These men are our fathers, our brothers, our uncles, pastors. These people were church leaders, if I'm not mistaken, that hurt her. They're our friends. They're even our husbands and lovers. And how can we expect society to recognize black lives when you, black men, yourself, hold no accountability for it? How? And this is not to just harp on black men, but it is to challenge you and to genuinely hold you accountable for starting to speak up. You know, it's not just in, you know, the fact that you may not have physically touched someone or harmed someone. It's speaking up in the barbershops. It's speaking up when it's not a popular opinion. It's speaking up and saying, you know, don't objectify this woman, or just to acknowledge that her life has value beyond, again, you possessing her in some type of way. You know, if you were to sit in a room of black women and ask them how many of them have suffered sexual assault, more than half of that room is going to raise their hand. You know? And that's saying something. And 9 times out of 10, it ain't from a white dude. It's not from the police. This stuff happens right in our family structures. You know, it happens with men that we trust and feel safe with and are supposed to feel safe with. And it's just a problem. It is a real problem within our community. I've talked before about how, you know, I had gotten to the point where, you know, they really, men was just their being was starting to disgust me. I was starting to feel a level of bitterness and anger towards black men that I knew was an issue that I just didn't want being in my body. And again, just I get, you know, the nature of men, that they are visual, that you can be attractive. I understand all that. But the fact that they also by nature can get very animalistic and feel absolutely no constraint on becoming predators, basically. You know, predators towards something that they want is a problem. There needs to be some self-regulation. You know, no different than the responsibility that women have to have of protecting themselves against pregnancies and things like that, where we know we sit around, sleep with someone unprotected. We have to be more responsible than that to just get impregnated by anybody that comes through. You know, there's a level of self-awareness and self-accountability that has to happen. And there are always going to be the not so good apples, you know, and even then, you know, we have to discuss trauma. We have to discuss generational traumas and family traumas and reasons why people are making these decisions. There is a healing that needs to happen within the black family structure as a whole. And this is just a very dark piece of it. Really is. So, you know, I am just so beyond being upset with people because certain things, being upset with white people because there are certain things that I just genuinely understand that they don't have the capacity for. And that's, again, not a jab, it's just the truth. They don't wear our skin, so there are just certain things that they cannot connect to and feel. They can have compassion for it, but they don't get it, and I get that, and I can respect that. But black men, I cannot give the pass for, because you do share our experience, and we need your help. We need your help. We need your support. We need your love. You know, we need to matter to you. We're the ones who are supposed to be, you know, if we believe in the spirituality that we talk about, and, you know, and you are the masculine, you know, you're the protector and the provider. Again, this stuff is happening in your hands. And if it's not happening in your hands, then your brother, your father, your cousin, your homeboy is doing it. And you need to hold him accountable too. If you know that this is the vibe he has, at some point we need to start having some tougher conversations. And possibly even penalizing them. You know, being a part of locking their asses up or whatever. Go to counsel with them. I don't know what you need to do. Because those are the conversations that only you know how to have with old dude. Only you know how to have that conversation with him and say, look, bruh, not okay. Again, the world does not listen to black women when they are screaming out and saying, we are in pain, we are in trouble, people are taking us off the streets. They don't hear us. We need your voice to be a part of it. We need your voice to be a part of it. So, you know, and again, that's why I'm saying, you know, please don't think that if you haven't physically assaulted a woman that you don't play in the part of patriarchy. Again, the same energy. To me, the exact same things that we say that we want white people to do for us, you can just insert that same. That's what we need black men to do for black women. It's the same. It's no different. I remember listening to James Baldwin. I can't remember what book it is, but it's like his autobiography, and everything that he was saying in the book and talking about his experience with white people, and the fact that, you know, he didn't hate them, and he just understood the limitations. And I just kept saying to myself at the time, you know, like, everything he's saying about white people, we can apply the same thing to the way it transfers to black men and black women. Every single thing that he is saying. Again, I don't hate black men. I love black men. I want and hope and will always hope that we can have a family structure that is stable, that, you know, we can find men that love us authentically, that don't cause us pain, that, you know, but patriarchy is a worldwide system. It's not just in the American structure. It's not just an African American problem. And there is a level of privilege that men do have, just in terms of your own physical strength, you know, just in terms of your own physical strength. So it's just time to, like we say, just lay down those privileges. And it starts with acknowledging that you have them first and foremost. I think there's, my father included, so many men who just don't want to see themselves that way and don't want to see themselves as part of the problem. And again, when you go to the barbershop, when you're hanging out with your boy and he's saying some ignorant shit, those are the times, yeah, we need you to speak up. We need you to speak up. Is it gonna be cool? No, but we need it to happen. And this young lady dying is just another catalyst, just another springboard to talk about something that is just an ongoing problem. Dare I mention R. Kelly? Dare I mention, and I've said these things before. I've been having these conversations for a while now, actually. It's just very, very sad to me. And I am a woman who has suffered sexual assault myself, at the hands of a black man. It's something that is just all too common that we share. And again, this is an issue within our own community. It's not even, it's beyond white police officers. And when the white police officers show up to protect and serve this woman who's already suffered the, like, think about it, who's already suffered the hands of a black dude. Are you thinking about how this plays out? How do they create value for these black lives that you keep protesting for? It's deep in the music. It's deep in, again, I'm a person who likes a ratchet song or two, but it is starting to get harder and harder as I continue to heal and grow to listen to lower vibrational stuff, because that it just doesn't vibe with who I am. Because I know I have value. Every single bit of what you see, So, the emotional unavailability of men is equally damaging. There's so many women who marry into a fantasy that this man will save them, only to find he is no different than the fathers, brothers, uncles, etc. that cause them pain. We all tend to have this this fantasy, that somebody's going to make it different. But again, somebody can still shut you out emotionally and trigger those very same feelings of somebody who may have physically harmed you. Or all I'm saying is it runs so deep. It runs so deep. And black women are the first ones to be called, bitches and whores, and because of how deep it runs, a lot of women tend to perpetuate the very same behavior, because the love that we really, really want and need from our masculine energies, it gets taken out on us. Pain, people in pain cause pain, period and point blank, So, I really want to lighten this conversation up, but this is a black hole. Literally, a black hole. A hole in the black community that needs to be filled. It needs to be addressed. It needs to keep falling inside of it, and nothing is being done. Can you imagine a gaping hole, in the middle of the world, and everybody just acting like it's not there? It's there. It's been there. So I don't try to just present, issues, problems. I try to present solutions as well. Listen to black women. That's the solution. Let's just start with listening to them. Period. Women like me. Again, I've been doing this conversation, I don't know how long, at least over a year. And whether you tune into it for the boobs, there's so many men who were like, oh, I didn't know. I've been talking for a very long time. I've been a beauty professional, but I have a brain, I have a voice, I have experiences. Listen to us. Listen to the ones that aren't your mama. Listen to the ones that you aren't sticking your dick in. Listen to the ones that you don't think are that cute, listen to your sisters, listen to your aunts, listen to Black women, period. We're not just angry, we're not just barking, we're not just complaining, and you know, there is a deep-seated pain. And until you even hear our stories or hear that there could be something going on with us, then again, we don't exist. No different than that tree that falls in the forest. You know, we've been falling for years. At some point, you have to hear that we exist to acknowledge us. The second part of something that we can do is just, again, Black women, us understanding completely that we need each other now more than ever. It's extremely unfortunate that this young lady had to die. But seeing so many displays and you know, the artwork and just everything vouching for this young woman's life, coming from Black women as a community, let's keep that same energy. Let's keep that same energy. Even if these men never show up. Just no different than if white people never show up for us, we have to start showing up for ourselves. And, you know, perhaps we lead by example and really understanding our own lives have value. And again, beyond you being married, sister, and you turning your nose up at the stripper around the corner, beyond, you know, the chick that you might think is a little prettier than you, or, you know, your boyfriend's baby mama, all that kind of stuff. It needs to stop. We need to bond together. All class levels, all age ranges. Older Black women need to stop looking down on younger Black women as if they don't know what they're talking about. Black women need to listen to Black women too. How about that? How about that? That's something I need to have another conversation about, that I consistently run into that. Just that energy of, you know, older Black women just trying to dominate you, you know, just because you're older. Hey, I'm grown too. I'm grown too. And I'm not your child. I'm not your child. So I do require respect. I will always be respectful to you, but don't do that. You know, I'm a Black woman just like you are, and at some point you were my age. Whether I'm making mistakes or not, we can guide each other in loving ways, and we can speak to each other in loving ways. We just can't. We need to hold ourselves accountable for that. So I'll share what my wild thought of the day is, and it is: the way you've always done it, the way you've always done it is not a valid excuse to perpetuate dysfunctional behavior. Improvement of absolutely anything requires change. Meaning, you know, again, just like, we're just so tired of saying, like, it's just the way we do it. That's the way it is in this family. That's the way it's all gonna have to change. There's gonna be a lot of changes that need to happen for us to see things differently, for these lives to start having value. It's going to require all of us to get uncomfortable at times. So, you know, however that shows up, you know, the fact that you've always done it that way is just not an excuse anymore. It's not an excuse. We are in the process of a paradigm shift right now. It is happening. Coronavirus has changed absolutely everything. The race riots have changed absolutely everything. Now we have this thing with patriarchy. We're able to address some really, really deep-seated issues, and it's just time for change. That's what God is telling us. So that's how we are transmuting all this darkness into lights. So I encourage, support, advocate for these changes to happen. If there's anything that I can do outside of promoting these conversations, please, you know, comment below. Let me know. You know, put down the organizations, put down things that you're doing. I'm here to support that. I'm here to support that. So again, please like, share, subscribe. Check out thebeautyinfluencer.org, my new website. And let's just, life is happening. We have to find the beauty, guys. So I love y'all. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you next week, God willing, whether it is on Instagram or right here on YouTube.